Most people are living their lives from a heart place and not a head place. Most people are governed by their emotions. How many of us are living a headless life? Real decisions that move your life along are not coming out of your emotions, they're coming out of your head.
Feelings can get us into trouble. But we've got to learn how to follow wisdom and not just follow our feelings around. If you live on that shallow level of just always letting your flesh have its way, later on you're going to have some major regret. Friends, the pain of discipline is minuscule compared to the pain of regret. You've got to learn to discipline the negative feelings and keep a good attitude anyway.
A person who does not function out of their head is a person without government, because you will forfeit what God has given you because of how you feel. Are you so busy managing your feelings and the feeling of the people around you that you're not making progress in life? You can't cry your way out. So why are you doing what doesn't work? Why are we loyal with ineffectiveness? And we are loyal to things that we know don't work, but because this is how I feel.
Don't be surprised at the fiery trial that you're going through. It is only to test your quality. It shows us what we're really made of. And unless we learn how to rule over our emotions, then we're not going to get out of that situation. God loves you too much to just leave you alone. He is going to constantly be pushing you and giving you opportunities to improve. See, we cannot control every circumstance in life, but we can control how we respond to those circumstances. You need to learn to pray, God, help me to remain calm. Help me to rule over these emotions.
You're being fought by imaginations. Some of you are stressed to death over what ifs and maybes.
We got to discipline these negative emotions. It's a decision that you have to make. God is not going to make it for you. You've got to discipline yourself.
Whatever you do, don't lose your head. The enemy wants to cut off your head and leave you with feelings. With every blessing, there is a battle. The enemy would not send that level of battle against you if there were not that level of blessing before you. If you're up under attack, there's something to be gained.
We all love to be blessed, but here's the key. With that blessing is going to come opposition, people that are not for you. The question is, can you handle the persecution? The favor on your life will stir up the jealousy, the envy in certain people. You have to pass the test of overlooking insults. They wouldn't be talking if you weren't making a difference. Let God take care of those that are trying to make you look bad. You have to be okay with them not being okay with you. You don't need everyone to celebrate you. You don't need their approval. You have Almighty God's approval. People can't stop your destiny. The blessing on your life is greater than any force that's trying to hold you back. When people don't accept you, don't take it personally. It's not about you. It's about the favor that God's put on you. With great favor comes great haters. With great abundance comes great opposition. When you see great blessing, soon someone will not understand. And this is not to discourage you, but to prepare you. Stay on the high road. The grace is there to handle it. You have to rule your emotions. Don't let jealous people steal your blessing. Don't argue with people that don't matter. That negative chatter is a distraction. You don't have to respond to the negative. A response gives that person credibility. Some people are not going to like you, and that's okay. But sometimes we're trying to change people's minds that are never going to be for us. The best response is let your life, your example, do the talking. You have the grace to rise above it, the grace to not let it bother you. Step into that grace and move forward. Someone throws an insult, dodge it. Tries to make you look bad, dodge it. The persecution is a sign that people can see the favor on your life. You can't be blessed without persecution. Where God is going to take you is going to require greater discipline and greater obedience. My question is, can you handle the blessing? I already know the answer. Yes, you can.
The reason some people never reach their highest potential is because they never get away from the wrong people. You're spending all your time and energy on someone that doesn't understand your destiny. When you get around true friends, they won't be jealous of your gifts. It'll be just the opposite. They'll give you ideas. They'll help push you further along. It's not the quantity of friends that's important, it's the quality of friends. See, you need people that will come into agreement with you and release their faith, not people that will tell you what you can't do and release their doubt. Who you have in your inner circle is extremely important. Are they building you up or tearing you down?
Make a list of who you communicate with most and ask yourself the question, what kind of person am I becoming because of this relationship?
Some of you don't realize how much that one negative influence is holding you back.
I know people whose lives have been ruined because somebody wasn't good for them.
A lot of times we think, I know this person is not a good influence, but if I make a change, I may not have any friends. But you never give up something for God that He doesn't give you something back better in return. That person is constantly complaining. You don't need that poison going into your spirit.
You want to begin to get all the toxic people out of your life.
Don't get me wrong, I'm all for helping people, but I've also found some people don't want to be helped. You cannot spend your whole life trying to pull someone up and expect to fulfill your God-given destiny. Are your friends making you stronger? You cannot soar with the eagles as long as you're hanging out with the turkeys. Your time is too valuable to spend it with people that are constantly draining the life and energy out of you. Show them the door.
There is a shift going on in your life, and it starts with your head. When your head comes out, it won't be long until everything begins to shift. Touch your neighbor and tell them, I feel a shift.
There are many times where you have to learn to control your emotions, and as kids, if you learn to control your emotions, it's going to be beneficial for you in many ways. But does that mean that you should keep a normal face all the time? Never show emotions? No, it's not like that at all. There's, like everything else, there's a dichotomy that you have to balance. If your kid wins a wrestling match, you should be happy and great and smile and yeah, high five, right? That's cool. If you bite into a amazing piece of prime rib that your wife cooked for you, then you should raise your fist to the air and say yes. So there you're going to show some emotion. If you get bad, if you get news that you got a friend that died, you got to let those emotions out. There's all kinds of situations where emotions are not only acceptable, but they're needed and they're required. And in fact, if you don't have emotions in those situations, that's horrible. You need to have them, not only as a person, as a human being, you need to let out your emotions sometimes, but as a leader, if you don't show any emotions at all, no one's going to follow you. There's no connection between you and the people on your team. And if you just sit there and think about people that you've worked for that didn't show emotions, you have no connection with them, you don't care about them, you'll leave, you won't go the extra mile to get the job done. So, you have to show emotions. But, of course, there are many times in life, in the world, where showing your emotions are going to have a negative impact on your situation. You give up the takedown in a jiu-jitsu competition, and you show it in your face. That person just thinks I just broke you, right? You don't show any emotion there. Boss tells you you're getting stuck with the underperforming team. Don't show any emotion, right? Don't, oh man. Don't do that. But, hey, what about this? There's a good one. Boss is giving you feedback that you don't agree with. roll your eyes, you know what I mean? The heavy sigh, the clenched teeth as you're trying to listen with this person. You don't even respect him. He's telling you, what's that going to get you? Not going to get you anything. Then showing that negative emotion there, you need to keep normal face in that situation. Mm-hmm. Your kid's doing something that's annoying. It's trying to test your patience. And they're just trying to piss you off. Don't let them. Keep it in check. Here's another one. We already talked about this one. Your friends are poking fun at you because you missed a shot at the range, or you got lost on a land navigation course, or whatever. Get all mad. Don't get frustrated. Don't show an emotion. You know? They make fun of your haircut. They make fun of your accent. They make fun of whatever. Don't show emotions. Don't freak out. That's the other balance. Now, there are also times where you might have to force yourself to show some emotion just to get the point across, right? Your kid hasn't listened to you after 5 or 6 violations. You might have to show some anger. Or they do something that's going to get them hurt, right? You got to show some emotion so that they realize that was real. But flying off the handle and losing your temper is almost never does you any good. So, yeah, you have to be balanced. In order to be balanced, you have to be in control. And in order to be in control, you have to detach from your emotions. So you control your emotions and not let your emotions control you.
If you base your value on people's support, how much they approve you, encourage you, then if for some reason they stop doing that, you'll feel devalued. As long as they're telling you you're great, you'll feel great. The problem is, if they change their mind, they're not telling you that, you're not going to feel great. You can't base your value on what people give you. People are funny. They'll say you're beautiful one day and I don't care for you the next. Hosanna on Sunday, crucify them on Friday. If you don't know who you are without them, then if they leave, you'll be lost. They'll take you with them. Your identity was caught up in who they made you to be. You'll try to find somebody else to tell you who you are. You don't need people to tell you who you are. Quit letting how people treat you make you feel inferior. They don't control your destiny. They didn't breathe life into you. They didn't call you. They didn't anoint you. They didn't approve you. Your value came from your Creator, from the God who spoke worlds into existence. The good news is they can't change your value and you can't change it. God put it in you before you showed up. You don't need their approval. You don't need their encouragement. They don't have to validate you. It's good when it happens, but if you're depending on it to feel secure, then if they don't do it, you're going to feel inferior. Don't give away your power. Don't put your identity, your value into somebody else's hands. Even good people can't give you everything you need.
You cannot control this shit that's happening around you, okay? So just understand that there's always going to be things that happen that you can't control. That's okay, that's life. Understand that you can always control what you think and what you do in response to the things that are happening. So, what does that mean? It means that if you're the kind of person that gets triggered easily, you get pissed off, you snap at people, you build resentment, you're going to use the 5-second rule. You're going to use the 5-second rule the second you feel that wave of emotion. And I know exactly what you're feeling, Melanne. I think we all do. You know how that thing happens with the people that you love where you see them and you just want to kill them? It happens to me too, and it happens to the people who love me. It's normal to have frustrations rise up, but it's a choice to let those emotions make you snap. So what you're going to do the next time you feel your emotions rise up is you're going to count backwards using the 5-second rule. You're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The second you hit 1, your prefrontal cortex should be engaged because we're drawing the focus away from the interior part of your brain and we are awakening your prefrontal cortex. You now have control. You have the ability to choose what you do next. I use this technique to manage my response to the emotional triggers all the time with my kids. When normally in the past, something that they did would make me really upset and I would snap, I now silently count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and that alone allows me to collect myself, adjust my tone of voice, and speak in a way that actually is consistent with the kind of parent that I want to be. The other thing that I found is that the more that I interrupt myself from snapping or being triggered by my emotions, the easier it gets. And the second thing that I've noticed is that by simply lowering my tone or slowing down my pace, in other words, being in control of what I'm doing, it is amazing how much more effective I am actually as a parent because I'm not getting emotional. And I think oftentimes with the people that we love the most, we get into these patterns that are really destructive where we're triggered by each other and then we get emotional and then we use our emotions as a justification to not be great with people. And so all of what we're talking about is normal. It's normal to feel frustrated. Letting it make you snap, that's a choice. It's normal to get angry. Letting that be a justification for being an asshole or abusive to somebody, that's a choice.